Thank you for joining us, and thank you for contributing to Sporting Memories Network. We've asked people for their memories through objects, really. We've had Jack Russell's floppy hat and Kent Granger's rowing lane thing, and I put in a rugby shirt. So we've got a number of them already in the can. And very interested to know what your object is and why you chose it.
My object is my sweatband, Barbados sweatband. I started wearing it after I made my debut for the national team. I think way back in 2005, 2006. I played the game and just say I had a little bit of falling out with some of the people that ran the football at the time, and I was never going to go back and play for the national team. The players there said to me, make sure I don't forget about them. You're going back into England, we see you on TV. So I said to them, every time I wear a sweatband, that means I'm thinking of you. So it sort of stuck. I started wearing a sweatband all the time just to let them know that I'm thinking of them and I haven't forgotten about them. And, it's just been one of my trademarks throughout my whole career.
A Barbados, is it a specific Barbados headband or just the one you wore when playing there?
A sweatband, just when I played. When I played for Wigan, obviously when I played for my national country as well, but it was mainly when I started playing for Wigan in the Premier League when we were on TV, and the players for the national team for Barbados could see, and I say I'm thinking of them. So I didn't forget them. So yeah, that's always good.
Can you hold it up? Can I have another look at it?
Yeah, it's just, as I say, just Barbados colours. And obviously, when we won the FA Cup, it was a proud moment for me, lifting the trophy. And obviously, everybody got to see the Barbados sweatband as well, which brought joy to the country as a whole. So, yeah, it's a fantastic moment.
I'm looking at Wikipedia, which is not always reliable, but as you were born in Aylesbury, you played for Luton and Crystal Palace and then for Wigan. So what's the connection with Barbados?
My family's from Barbados. My parents were born there. Obviously, I've still got a lot of families still live there. And it was a choice at the time to pray that I could play for England or represent the country of my parents' birth. And it was a stage of, I went over there, spoke to everybody, and it was a proud moment for my family. So I wanted to represent Barbados, represent my family, and I've been lucky enough to get the Golden Jubilee Award from Barbados as well, and it's been a good journey for me. So it's time for me now, as part of this project I'm doing now, is trying to give something back to Barbados as well. So for me, it was a good choice.
And what are your memories of international football playing for Barbados? Were you successful, or what are your memories of it?
Yeah, it was hard. Obviously they haven't got a professional game out there, so a lot of the teams or players were amateur players. So we was going against USA and Trinidad and Tobago, and against these the power of the Caribbean in terms of the North American side of it in the World Cup qualifiers. And we had some really good results. And it was more a case of team morale than anything else. Never say die, just keep going and fight for each other. And it taught me a new way. Obviously I'm quite used to the English culture, but to go over there and you realise that we are fortunate in England, what we get. And they're just happy. As long as they got a smile on their face, that's all that matters to them. And that's a great way of living life.
Yeah, well, I was going to say football is central to English sport, probably not so much to Barbados sport. How do you qualify the difference?
I think cricket is always going to be one of the main sports in Barbados and the Caribbean as a whole. Obviously, they had the great years from the old West Indies players with Richards, got Joe Garner and Michael Marshall, and obviously they're still doing quite well now. So I think cricket is always going to be the heart, but football is a universal sport and everybody plays it. So, I'm on half a mission of trying to get more people involved in football. And it's going to be a great project. I'll leave on Friday to Barbados, and we're trying to help develop the women's game. So, really looking forward to it and hopefully find the next superstar.
Why football? Because you were quite talented in other sports as well, weren't you, when you were young? Why did you choose football?
I started off as cricket because my dad was a keen cricketer and obviously the West Indies connection. Then I went into athletics and it was a bit too boring for me. It was a long day, and about 10 years old, my friend said to me, come training with me at Ellesby United," and that's when I met Steve Greenhalgh. And from the first training session, I just enjoyed playing football, and I've got to give great credit to him because without him, my career probably wouldn't have been where it was now because my parents had to work quite hard. And they did always have time to take me to games and stuff then. And he went out of his own way and took me to a lot of my Luton games and helped me in general transportation. So I owe a lot to him and I'm still good friends with him now.
Great. And Luton, obviously the local club, presumably. Those of us who are not very close to football but know sport, when you say Luton, everybody says Eric Morecambe. Was he around at the time? Did you meet him?
I never met him. There's a suite up named after him, but I heard all the great stories about him, and obviously he's held in high esteem there. And they say there's plenty of stories about him in terms of his comedian and stuff like that. So, but I never got the opportunity to meet him, which is a pity. But I heard he's a great man.
Luton, Crystal Palace, then Wigan, and the FA Cup. You've mentioned it already. As captain, was that the high point of your football career, or are there other pinnacles that you want to talk about?
I think winning the FA Cup has got to be, obviously up there. As a boy, I dreamt about it. When I did get into football, you see it on the weekend watching the FA Cup on TV, and you always wish that one day it could be me. And you go in the park, put your jumpers down, pretend you're scoring a winning goal, and then in 2013, my dream became reality when obviously Wigan won the FA Cup, beating the mighty Man City at the time. And I can just remember walking up those stairs and looking over to the crowd. The sea of Wigan fans were just, it was amazing. And trying to look out and trying to spot my brothers and my family in the crowd and to actually lift that FA Cup. And it was a magical moment. Obviously, as a personal achievement, that was fantastic for me. But, I think you've seen the picture in the background, Joseph, winning the FA Cup was a magic moment, but to actually carry him out in the FA Cup final, not knowing he had Joseph go on back, and it was being around millions of people, it helped that charity and helped his cause immensely. So, football achievement, FA Cup, fantastic. But on a personal note, taking him out and having a massive impact on the charity was, a fantastic personal achievement for myself.
Talk a little bit more about the charity.
So he got NKH. He wasn't expected to live when he was born. He against all odds. So Wigan saying that at the time was believing against all odds. And we looked at him, and if he can keep fighting, and we're playing a football game. What is there to be scared of or afraid of? And we wanted to do it with him more than anything. And his parents, Paul and Emma Kendrick. I was meant to push him out, and I said to him, "Can I carry him?" Because he's one of us, and I felt better carrying him than pushing him out. And he was, as you see there, he's very comfortable on my shoulder, and it was a magical moment in that massive stadium. Paul keeps saying to me now, one of the biggest games of my career, and I'm thinking about carrying his son out. And for me, it's football comes second to that. It was a magical moment, and I get letters from grown men saying they were crying when they saw me carrying them out. And for me, it was just a simple gesture, but I never realised the impact he actually had. So for me, and he's still going now, still going strong. I think he was only 4 in that picture, but I think he's the longest living in diagnosed with his condition. So I think he's about 10 or 11 now. So he's doing really well.
And Wigan had that special relationship with the fans. Is that true of all football clubs, or was there something very special about the Wigan situation?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough. Obviously, Luton had a good connection. Crystal Palace side had a good connection, and Wigan, I've been there for so long, and it was for me a fantastic connection regarding. People always assume that was the underdogs all the time, and people used to say to me, Wigan's got no fans, but last 10 games of the season when we needed them the most. They used to come out there, they used to be our 12th man. They used to cheer us on. And even when we won the FA Cup and got relegated, not one of them were disappointed. They said, you know, if we're going to get relegated, we've been punching above our weight so long, but to win the FA Cup has made, you know, to made their lives, a lot of them their lives in terms of their football memories. So, you know, we always have a special connection, and even now you look at the Wigan, how the Wigan fans came out in their droves to, you know, help the club this minute in time in administration, and raising so much money for them of their own backs in this pandemic shows you the connection they have with the football club.
And Wigan, as you say, battled and won against the odds. It seems more and more, and particularly with the latest Big Six football plan, that it's going for, it's heading more towards the rich and the ones that are very, very heavily resourced. Is there a room for a Wigan to do it again now this year and in the near future?
I think so. That's the beauty of football. The underdog comes out of nowhere and cause all the upset. We did it in 2013, and you know, Wimbledon did it in 1988. I think it was. You know, it was. You know, I think there's room. I think obviously, like anything now, money's dictating what's going on in football, and it does look like it's going to be a little bit of a breakaway. But we've got to live in hope and got to believe in. You know, Wolves showed it when they come up. You know, and Sheffield United as well. You know, you can punch with the big boys, and fingers crossed. And that's the beauty of football. Anyone can beat anybody, and hopefully we can keep that. You know, that going.
And after you stopped playing, you've stayed very strongly connected with football. I read in Wikipedia, and this may be wrong, Street Soccer in the USA. What was that about?
Yeah, Street Soccer USA is a homeless organisation that teaches, just brings a family together, you know, in terms of people who are on the street, gives them somewhere to go, education. And, you know, Lawrence Cannell is the founder of it, and he's been absolutely fantastic. And again, it's simple things that we don't appreciate in life. You know, I used to go over there, play the charity games with Steve Nash, and you know, a lot of different players used to go over there. Thierry Henry was there one year as well, and the people that was there just said to us, as long as you think about us, that's all we care about. You know, for the fact that you're coming all the way from England, where you got your life over there, to come and support us and just to play football with us, and you know, to sit down and have a conversation means the world to them. And you know, as I say, you never realise these sort of things, that how a simple conversation can impact someone's life in a positive way. And you know, for me, it's absolutely, you know, I was proud to be the first international ambassador, and I'm still connected to it now. So it's a really, really proud moment for me to keep supporting that cause.
And what would you say are the difficulties for youngsters wanting to get involved in football now, particularly from the BAME background? Are there still the sort of hurdles you had to overcome and your predecessors had to overcome?
Yeah, I think there's the hurdles are slowly changing, not quick enough. You know, I'm fortunate to be in the company of Brendan Baxton, you know, and he, you know, I look at him as an inspiration in terms of what he came through, you know, and we're still sort of fighting that battle, but he led the way, you know, that era led the way. And it's just a pity that we're still talking about it now. There's a lot of groups at the moment that's trying to obviously, you know, Black Lives Matter, etc., and kick racism out. You know, it's a topic on the forefront of everybody's mind at the moment, and we just got to keep it there. And, you know, we are looking for diverse and change, and you know, I brought up in the era where you just got to keep battling through. You got, you know, don't turn around, don't turn away. Just keep going. No matter what doors are closed, you just keep knocking on that same door, or you go around it. And it's the same message that's being put through it now. And you know, I say to my kids, you know, just no matter what is against you, you just got to keep, you know, keep plugging away. And I'm fingers crossed one day it will change and there'll be more diverse. But in this minute in time, it's hard going, but we're still fighting the battle.
And in the short term for you, you're fighting the battle in Barbados, or with the Barbados football setup. Describe your work there.
Yeah, it's an exciting project. You know, I'm going over with Brendan Braxton and Jamie Frampton. We're all going over there to start a new project. Emmerson Boyce Foundation will be start early next year, and it's all about empowering the person. So we're using sport as the body, but the main part of it is education. You know, when I came to started up for Luton Town, I was 16 years old, and I thought I was going to get a contract. And you know, I did my GCSEs, didn't do too well with my GCSEs, so I thought I had the football to fall back on. And it was the biggest shock in my system when 3 weeks went past where everybody else got their contract and I didn't get my contract. And I just scratched my head, didn't know what I was going to do myself, because I dreamt of playing football all the time. And from then, I was lucky enough to get a contract. I don't know what happened, whether somebody fell out, or they picked someone else, or whatever happened. But I made it my goal later in my career to make sure education is the forefront of a young person's mind. Football is a beautiful, it can be a beautiful sport and lifestyle if you achieve it. But there's so many obstacles in the way that can stop you. And even like now, I'm 41 years old and I'm still trying to learn now. So my key for the project in Barbados is to empower the person, use sport as the body. Education is going to be the main base, but we also try and develop the football in Barbados, from the women's game to the men's game and just in general. So it's an exciting project. My sister's coming with me, Stephanie Boyce and Eileen Scolford's going to come as well. So it's going to be an exciting project and many more, hopefully.
Sounds a great project, and I personally wish you all the best in it, and more power to your elbow. Thank you very much for looking to sporting memories, Emmerson. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.